Hello, Fat Grandma here. I have now tried to do this video two times. The first time I got distracted, as I do, and I talked and went over things for almost an hour. And there was really no editing parts of it out where it would still make sense. So, scrap that one. Tried again yesterday, Tuesday, and in the middle of the video, my mother was outside with the leaf blower and it was really loud. And I kept going because I didn't know if the sound would pick up on the mic or not. And it did. So here I am, third time's a charm. I hope this goes well. I hope she stays away from the leaf blower. If you guys have seen my previous videos, you know that she's a little different, and she gets outside doing things, and she's been cutting branches off of a tree this week. It looks like I got a good look at it yesterday, and it's sad. So anyway, that's why this video has been delayed on the upload, because I haven't been able to get it right. So hopefully this one goes good. If you have not been here before, I am an eBay seller. Every once in a while, Poshmark. Nothing has sold on Poshmark for me in over a month. So I don't even know when the last time was I had a Poshmark sale. My stuff isn't really, Poshmark is, it's a variety of things, but it's primarily clothing, shoes, that kind of stuff. And, there's other things there for sure, but that's mostly what it is. And I don't do either of those on a regular basis. I avoid those things because of the fact that they can get returned for more reasons and more often than things that aren't, that are less likely to fit a person, or they might be the wrong color, whatever. Anyway, um, so primarily eBay, and my store is not large. I don't sell a lot of things. Uh, my average is about 8 to 12 things a week, 12 on the high end. So I had more than that during the holidays, as everyone had an uptick in their sales. Um, but I'm small potatoes. So I just usually share my solds, and then I will go into personal life stuff that's going on with me. So you can stick around for that if you want to. And anyway, I'm going to start, try and get this over with quickly so that it's not more than half an hour, because I don't like to go over 30 minutes. I used to make really long videos, and, people are going to fall asleep. So anyway, okay. Uh, the first sale was a New London salt and pepper shaker set, and those sold for $6.99, and with shipping it was $13.32. I probably paid $1 for these at the Animal Rescue thrift store. I know I picked them up there. I have an affinity for salt and pepper shakers for some strange reason. I don't know. Anyway, that was my first sale. The second item that sold in the past week was a Wilton Armitail pewter cabbage dish. It looked like lettuce leaves. I'll put pictures up here, but it was 11 inches in diameter in any direction, so it was big, and it weighed a ton. It was really heavy, so I'm glad it's out of here. It sold for $12.99, and with shipping, it was $27.87. That was pure profit because I got that item in a lot with some sterling silver plated, whole bunch of stuff that I purchased through an auction, and that lot's already been paid for, so this was just profit. So the next item was, don't buy these. You see them and you think, oh, that's probably worth something, and it's not. It wasn't for me. I've had these listed for a while. Disney Winnie the Pooh, 2001 to 2002, McDonald's Happy Meal toys. And, maybe mine took longer to sell because I was missing one and I lotted them up. I did not want to sell them individually. I just wanted to get rid of them. Once I got them home and saw that they weren't worth much, I just lotted them up and waited for someone to buy them. Anyway, they sold for $9.99, and with shipping, it was $16.54. Um, the I was missing number four. I had one, two, three, five, and six, and I think owl was the one that I was missing. So hopefully I don't know. You know, I I think I got an offer on these at one point that was like half, and I was like, no, I'll just wait. So, I got a little bit more. I think I barely made my money back on these. So, yeah, unless you can get them for like a quarter, I wouldn't even bother. Um, the next item I sold was a Cool Mist humidifier, travel size, rechargeable LED. It was Mainstays brand, which is Walmart. It was an open box item. It only sold for $7.99. With shipping, it was $15.83. This is an item that I picked up early on in my reselling, so like last March or April, and I was watching auctions online that had open box like Amazon reject items, and that's how I ended up with this. I've been staying away from new open box items for the last several months because they have not done well for me. None of them. Live and learn. I just do better with things that have been pre owned and tend to be on the vintage or antique side of things. I for sure sell some other stuff, but that seems to be more my niche and where I do better. So, everybody has to find their thing. Mine is not retail arbitrage, and it is not open box goods that could have something wrong with them. I just need to learn to stay away. I'm staying away from that stuff. Anyway, again, it was sold for $7.99, and with shipping, it was $15.83. And again, I may have broken even on that. I don't even know. I did not make a lot of profit this week. I think I did the math and it was like $64. So, really low week for me. But, I sold some things and whatever. The next item I sold was another item that I got from an auction early on. And it was a clothing item, New Day women's large sweatshirt. It was lavender. It was a very pretty color, plain, 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 plain. Nothing on it, nothing special about it. I'm kind of surprised it even sold, but I sold it for $7.99, and with shipping it was $16.49. It's gone. I'm glad. I maybe broke even on that too. The next item it sold, I think brought this item up or mentioned it in a previous auction. I'm not positive, but it was an item that I picked up in a box from an auction, and I can't remember what I was looking at in the auction that made me buy that lot. But this book happened to be in the lot, and I thought it was unique, and researched all over the place, tried to find it, couldn't find it other than it was listed for sale on some random website, and the people were asking over $100 for it, and it had been listed for a long time. So I was like, well, I'm not doing that. And I did find copies of it in libraries with the rest of the collection because this was part two. It was the William Randolph Hearst collection, part two. It was a public sale catalog, and it was from 1938. So it sold for $25, and with shipping, it was $31.54. This was profit because other things from that auction lot sold, and I already had my money back. So this was profit. So between this and that cabbage lettuce pewter dish, that's how I made money this week. Otherwise, I would have made no money. The next item I sold was a Mazatlan clay pottery souvenir cup. It was kind of like a coffee mug, but well, you'll see a photo. It was only 4 inches tall, so it wasn't very big, hand painted. Anyway, it sold for $5, and with shipping, it was $13.49. This is not something a person would probably use. It's probably just for decoration or, souvenir type thing. The next item I sold was another one of those car vent air freshener clip things, and I sold a butterfly this time. I have it sold for $5.99. With shipping, it was $6.48. Weighed practically nothing, and I shipped it in a 4x4x4 box. I could not ship these in a poly bag because they have a tab on the back of them that could get broken very easily. So I stick them in a box with a little bit of bubble wrap. But I have pulled these from my store. I have decided I'm not going to sell them anymore because I was making no money on them. And it was actually costing me, because I did the math, and the box that I have to ship them in costs me like 45 cents. Then there's a sheet of bubble wrap, and it just all added up. It wasn't worth it. So between the cost of what I paid for these, so I've been thinking, and I mentioned this in the video that I recorded on Monday, that I was thinking about doing some boxes, not mystery boxes, but boxes of items where I will just pile a bunch of stuff in a box and take a photo. So they'll be able to see, people will be able to see the majority of the items, but there will be some hidden stuff in there. Nothing that's things that I would throw away, but items that are not worth listing individually. Like things like this air vent freshener and some Christmas ornaments that I got, and in lots that from the auction, that it's not worth it to sell them separately. But if I lump a bunch of stuff in a box together, it could be a fun box for someone, and it wouldn't be for resellers. It would just be if somebody wants to buy a box of junk, basically. Um, so that's probably how these will get distributed or sold or whatever. I'll just throw a couple of them in some boxes that I do, basically like junk drawer boxes, or like just random crap boxes. I don't even know if I can say that on eBay, but if I can, I will. I'll just say boxes of random crap, and that's what they're going to be. I don't know if they'll sell or not, but people like getting weird stuff and opening a box and whatever. So I'm going to try it. I'll probably put together a couple boxes and throw them up on eBay and see what happens. I don't know. But if I can get rid of these, that's how they'll go, because I'm not gonna pay to sell something, it just doesn't make any sense. So the last item that I sold, and I told you there weren't very many things, was a rust cream and plaid lumbar toss pillow. It was Threshold Studio. Studio McGee was the brand. It was a Target item, and this is something that I also purchased from. It was like an not overstock. It was one of those auctions where they were selling, leftover junk from Amazon or whatever, and the pillow sold for $8.99, and with shipping, it was $17.81. So that is it for my sales. Um, I think in my videos from now on, if I can remember to do this, I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that I've picked up in the past week that I think are weird or fun or unique or whatever. And so the two items that I'm going to share today, I'm going to grab, and I will show those to you guys, and then I'll get into what's going on with my health situation. So I will be right back. Okay, so this first item I got in an auction, and all of the auctions that I do are online. So they take photos. I can look at the photos. I can see what's in each auction lot, and then you can Google Lens some of the items and get an idea of what they're selling for, what they have sold for, if they do good photos. They don't always do great photos, so sometimes. And again, like I've said before, sometimes you can't really tell everything that's in the box, but you can get an idea. So it's kind of like getting a half a mystery box sometimes with the auctions. But anyway, this was by itself. There was nothing else in the auction. Um, and I just thought it was so weird I had to get it. So I ended up, one person bid on it other than me, and so I paid $7.50 for it. So I don't know if that was stupid or not, but it's weird. And it's a jar with blown glass on the top of it. I don't know how good you guys are going to be able to see this, but if I have a good photo of it without anything behind it, I'll post that up here in the corner too. But um, I just thought this was so strange, and I have no idea what it would be used for because you can't really get your hands down in there. So it was hard to clean this. But I just thought it was so bizarre. I like weird things. So, anyway, so this will get listed. Probably, I'm probably going to start it somewhere around, I don't know, $28, maybe a little more than that, so that I can come down if somebody makes an offer on it, if anybody even wants this thing. But I just thought it was weird, and so I got it. Okay. And the other thing that I'm going to show you guys, I picked this up at a yard sale. I'm not sure why, but it's weird. And so it's a Jamaica hand painted, hand cut. You can tell this thing was all done by hand. It's got little. You can see. You'd have to see it in person or feel it, but it's wood. I'll show you the back in a second. But how bizarre is this? It's just got sharks on it. It just says Jamaica. It's kind of beat up. You can see it's kind of beat up. Um, Weird stuff like this sells sometimes, so I'm hopeful. I paid $1 for it, so I'm not really worried about it. But here's the back. You can see where somebody hung it at one point up at the top. I'm not sure what they used, but you know, I figure someone will want this stupid thing. So anyway, so that's my other weird find for the past week. Um, all right. I found some other really cool things. Not really cool, but decent. But I'm not going to go through all of that because it'll just drag the video out. And I've already been at it for 17 minutes. So as far as my health goes, in the last video I told you guys that I was going to be getting injections in my back, and my doctor had told me on more than one occasion that what he does is he does an injection on each side, and then he does one in the center. So that's what I was expecting when I got to, when I got to the facility, and um, that's not what happened. I got one injection on the lower left side of my back, and that was it. And I could have brought it up at the moment, but it was like surgery day for him, or not surgeries, but these are procedures that he's doing, and he does them only on Tuesdays, I guess. And so he had somebody coming in right after me and somebody after that, and it's like an assembly line, I guess. And anyway, when I see him later this month, I'm going to ask him why I was only given one injection. And I have a feeling that because this is how the last place did it, they made me go back for another injection, and they didn't do any in the center. They only did them on each side. But I think these pain management places that do this, um, I don't, I don't believe it's for patient safety or any of that. I think that they make you go back so that they can bill the insurance company for a second time on the whole thing, because if you got two injections in at one, when you went the first time, they would only be able to bill the insurance company once for the facility, all the people, and each injection. And I'm sure the injections themselves don't cost that much. It's the people and the facility that that it's the big expense. And if you have to go twice, they get to bill the insurance company for all of that stuff two times. So I have a feeling that's why they do it that way, but I'm going to confront him. And I don't have a problem, questioning medical professionals, my doctors, and I've never felt like they are above me just because they have a medical degree. I appreciate that they went to medical school for as many years as they did, and that they have a specialty and all of that, but that does not um, absolve them from having to explain why they did something different than they told me they were going to. So, he told me I'd get 2 injections, one on each side and one in the center, and I ended up getting one injection on the left side, and then that was it. So I'll fill you guys in after I see him later this month, and let you know what his response was, because he's gonna answer me, and I want a decent answer. I want the right answer. I want to know why I was only given one injection. What was the reason for that? Because again, he told me 2 times how he does it, and the way he does it, according to him, is one on each side, one in the center, and that is not what happens. So I don't really know. I feel like it's working. I haven't had to take as much ibuprofen. I'm still taking my tramadol, but I have been breaking them in half. And yesterday I had to take another half in the evening. So it feels like it has helped, but it almost feels like it's starting to wear off already. And it's only been just over a week. So I don't know. I don't know if it's wearing off, or I don't know if I did something. I lifted a heavy box yesterday. So maybe that put some strain on my back. I don't know. Anyway, that's it with my health stuff. I did have a couple other things that have to do with eBay that I was going to talk to you guys about, and I forgot. So if you're still here, you know, I I had a lowball offer, and someone ended up on my block list. I listed some Disney PVC Christmas characters, and if they're from the 1980s. They're the Applause brand. You'll recognize. I'm going to put a picture up here, but if you were a child in the 80s or a parent of children, you probably saw these. And I had a lot of 7 of them, and I listed them for $28. Now I realize that may seem high, but if you look at the individual prices for these items, it would add up to way more than $28 for all of them. And I priced it a little high, figuring someone would probably make me an offer around $20, maybe 18, in that ballpark. So I listed them for 28, and less than 5 days after I listed them, I get an offer for $5, and I'm like, that's not no. So I declined, because to me that's ridiculous. That to lowball someone that much. $10 would have been lowball for a $28 item, but $5 for real, a quarter, less than a quarter of what I'm asking. So they got blocked. I don't even want to hear from them again. Then the other thing that happened this past week was, in the last video I mentioned a turkey platter that I sold, and it was a Haviland. I can't remember the whole name of the turkey platter, but it was very pretty, and I had listed it in my listing at the description. Okay, the title of the listing. I had put in 16-inch platter, and that was a typo. In the description and in the item specifics, I had 14-inch platter in there 2 separate times, and I'll show you guys on the screen. Had the buyer read and looked at the whole auction, or not auction, but the whole listing, they would have seen 14 inches in there 2 separate times, and not just gone by what was in the title. But they did, and so I got a message after they received it, and all it said was, "I'm very unhappy. This is not a 16-inch platter." And I was like, oh boy, here we go. So I looked to see what I had done, and I didn't say anything back to them other than, "I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was over the top apologetic, almost to the point of being sarcastic, because I knew that, yes, I'd made a mistake on the title, but I also knew that they didn't even bother to read any of the rest of it, because if they had, they would have messaged me before they purchased it to find out if it was 14, like it said in the description, or if it was 16 inches, like it said in the title. And they did not do that. So, yes, I was at fault for having 16 inches in the title, but they didn't bother to look at any of the rest of the description. obviously, or they would have seen 14 inches in there twice. And again, I'm going to show you guys where it was in there, you know. So I was super, super apologetic. I told them they could return it and I would give them a refund. It did not take very long. They wrote me back and they said, no, I don't really need a refund. I'm just, they apparently, they had another seller they'd gotten into it with. And because something arrived broken or chipped, and the seller was not being helpful at all or agreeable, you know, they were being difficult. So they were taking out what was going on with the other sale on me. And in the end, they said they didn't need a refund. They were just disappointed. And I said, well, I said, I looked back in the second email that I sent them or message. I said, I looked back at the auction. It must have been a typo in the title because in the description, it says that it's a 14-inch platter. And apparently they already had the 14-inch and they thought this was 16. So that's why they wanted it. Anyway, they ended up keeping it. They told me they didn't need any money back. I went ahead and refunded them half of the shipping. So I didn't lose much. I probably just ended up breaking even on that dish. But, you know, but I got positive feedback from them. So, you know, that's really that's what really matters to me is to keep my positive feedback because it's 100% and I'd like to keep it that way, but I'm not going to let somebody run over me either, you know. Um, so I got what I wanted and they did, you know, they said more than once, I don't need any money back. I don't need any money back. I was just upset. And then they explained what had happened with the other seller. And I was like, that's fine. I'm still going to give you some money back because then I don't have to feel bad about it. It was partially my mistake. Maybe they'll read auctions better from now on because it was very clearly in mine, you know, that it was only 14 inches, but I made the mistake of putting in the title. So if you're a reseller, be careful and double check all your numbers. And I'm usually pretty good about that, but I missed this one. So, anyway, that is it for me for this week. I don't think there was anything else I was going to talk to you guys about. It's, you know, just plugging along. Life is life and it's happening. So, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'm sorry this was late getting posted, but whatever, you know, it's not like I'm some big time, very popular reseller that everybody's just waiting around for my videos. So I don't feel bad about it. um, I will see you guys in a week. Bye.